Well, hello everybody. It's been a long day. I oh, where do you start? I wanted to wait till the conclusion of Windsor before I went live. I'd actually gone out to some communities here just on social media platforms, reached out to big voices here in Canada, all the way to crypto just to let everybody know as it really is. It's huge. It's precedented, everybody. This is not true how the media paints that the never before used Emergency Measures Act. In fact, it was the War Measures Act. It was actually last used by Justin Trudeau's daddy, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, in my father's time, near the same time in life as I am today in my life. We're a few, maybe a decade apart, I should say, but still, the children, the family, all of the same markers, cursors, what happened to Canada, Canadians, the gross recession Canada was put in, specifically out west, for all Albertans who didn't live with that. I grew up in it. I know just how tough times were post Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and everybody's bragging of the charter. The charter didn't matter because inflation, interest rates through the roof. I can tell you the tale of the tape, but if anyone who didn't grow up with it then, if you're new to this concept and you never experienced it, you will. You will for literally the next 2 decades of your life as you go through the BS of Justin Trudeau's New Canada, New World Order Canada going forward. His father tried it, he did it, the War Measures Act was put in, Quebecers arrested, Quebec separatism had to be crushed, any idea of regionalism had to be crushed, even though we're a federalist state with a division of powers, we're supposed to have regional governments. With the War Measures Act implemented, I can tell you UCP has cancelled me appearing tomorrow. I'm throwing out all NGOs, civil societies, much the same as Ukraine's corruption, that we will be going live from the greatest expert in Ukraine and all of this tomorrow. We did our rehearsal tonight. It's a go. There's other experts. They want to participate, but it's all about Ukraine tomorrow. Even Russia's just going to watch. They want to hear because they like what this expert is going to share with all of you from Kiev. So both of us in a lot of heated problems here. This expert, he's speaking from Kiev, live from Kiev, so he puts himself at great risk, Canadians. For all of my Ukrainian followers, it's okay. You don't have to say anything. You can watch the video. I know you all do anyway, but I will PM you after because you know what? Following this, we're going to revisit this time and time again. More and more experts are going to come on, and in fact, maybe they'll be comfortable doing Facebook Lives as well too. This expert has joined me on Facebook anyway, so you'll all get to see that. It'll be a more calm, relaxed environment. We're going to go through it. I want to go through Surrey, BC, the border crossing, Coutts, Alberta, and now Windsor, as it's all been concluded. Wiped out, all three of them decimated. Specifically for Coutts, the story goes that a truck loaded with guns came to the border to block, loaded with guns. Now, why on earth would they do that in Alberta? To me, everybody, as a lifetime Albertan, one who's went through the gun registries, all of it, all the brutality of it, I lived it, I know it. You can go look at High River, a place as a youth I went for great rock concerts, beautiful area in mountainous Alberta, southern Alberta. The times of my life, greatest memories of my life. After what happened with the flooding, what the RCMP did to rural Albertans in the worst time of their life, went in to seize firearms, used the registry as a weapon. Well, now everybody, Justin Trudeau can use all of that at his discretion. He has taken over all the regions through his crown. That's what the Emergency Measures Act allows. Be afraid, be very afraid. You want to talk about being framed? I do believe, Coots, Alberta, I can't see people being that inept. Who in their right mind would drive a truck loaded with guns to the border to block the border, only to follow the RCMP's discretion, allow their truck to be boarded to seize all the weapons? To me, it stinks of a plant, a frame-up, a job. It was a way of getting rid of several Albertans in that blockade doing a protest on the border. Right or wrong, that's what they did, a protest, a closure of the border. This was all Justin Trudeau needed to do much more against the First Peoples as well, too. Believe it or not, this gives him tremendous power in places other than those borders. He will use the Emergency Measures Act to exact much across Canada, much in all his perceived enemies, as his father did. If the Trudeau government doesn't like you, get ready for a frame-up, get ready for your place to be stormed for all kinds of reasons. Planting of evidence won't matter because the Emergency Measures Act is in place now. Just like the War Measures Act of old, it is a huge autocratic power of the Crown. It removes all your rights. So careful what you say online, what you participate in now, because you can lose your bank accounts. Crypto's not protected, nothing's protected. As I'm going to say again, all companies foreign that participate in Canada are subject to the laws of Canada, or they don't do business in here. That's the power of the UN, a UN state called Canada. The Crown rules here. Justin Trudeau is using absolutely full power of the Crown to do whatever he deems necessary. His elite, his governing power. Watch out, folks. If you don't believe it in real history, just look at what his father did. This is the worst Canada's ever been for a very long time. You have to go back many decades to the Quebec separatists, Parti Québécois. Go look at all of that, and even worse, everything claimed and done. People are already going to jail by the boatloads here in Canada. A lot of people, likely most, are not even guilty of anything. I personally believe it's a setup, it's a frame job, but it's done what Trudeau needed it to do. I believe that all kinds of Crown across all parties were involved in absolutely decimating people's right to legally protest. That's what happens. I've warned people about it. If you don't understand the Crown, you will understand it now. There are many more groups through this War Measures Act, i.e. the Emergency Measures Act. More people are going to suffer than just what you're going to see in these three. There are going to be boatloads of abuses, boatloads of crimes committed by the Crown. But hey, that's what was coming. That's the power of the Crown. I've tried to scream it out. I've tried to share. I myself am under serious problems here, just trying to cash out of Alberta. I can see going forward tomorrow, even videos like this or videos I've done in the past, it gives all kinds of power for Trudeau to have law enforcement storm me. I haven't committed any crimes, but hey, whatever they want to make, they can do. Whatever I do tomorrow, they can use that. We've already seen Jason Kenney have me thrown out of tomorrow's presentation. Even though open invite, I haven't broken any laws. I'm legally still an Albertan. I wanted to give an address on the Crown, the province to lay down the Crown. Never mind committee, give Albertans constitutionalism for their first time in Confederation, as called for in 1867. A small 5-minute presentation, well written, well articulated, like much of what I do on the international stage. Many of you have read and heard from. I'm booted because I don't fit the liberal conservative agenda. I don't love the Crown. I believe in the people, all the people of Canada. Whether you believe you're liberal, NDP, conservative alike, any party, it didn't matter. Because with the right education by the greatest experts, you would have all made the right decisions. I had great faith in every Canadian. I love you all. All the First People, I love you all. But again, that's to never be. You're not to have constitutionalism. You will only hear tomorrow in Alberta from NGOs and civil societies. This is a cornerstone of centralized states, full autocrats, as you're going to hear from the greatest legal mind in Ukraine, Kiev, brave enough to grace you all tomorrow, even though they're under the War Measures Act themselves. And now Canada has enacted it the same as Ukraine. And we're both going to talk. Regardless of all of that, we're all going to share with you fundamental knowledge, a real doctorate right in Kiev as it really is. He puts himself at great risk in his own country, as now I put myself at great risk in my own country. I know a lot of people are afraid. You should be afraid. It's terrifying. It's a gross reality of Canada. I'm not going to live through what my father and his generation lived through. I'm going to go to the US and live a semi-normal resemblance of life. God help me, Creator help me to get this done. I want to get it done. I don't know if it's going to be achievable. I may find myself arrested. And before people say, oh, don't worry, and a lot of you have reached out, oh, we're all going to bail you out, Dave. Welcome to the War Measures Act. I will be the Omar Kadar of Canada for Canadian, and literally you won't be bailing me out. They don't even have to release me to you. There's no court. There's no nothing. They can hold me for a long, extended period of time, as they're going to lock away a lot of those who did the border protests. Those people are going to be locked away for a long time. You won't get to call them. There'll be no phone calls. You can all put that aside. Canada has never, ever been democratic. It's the illusion of democracy. And when the people wake up, every generation that they do, that generation is crushed. Those voices are crushed. They're destroyed, decimated. You never hear from them again. When they do come out, they won't talk to you. It's just like reporters like who went over to China. They're never going to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. I guarantee you they don't love their country anymore. They know just how full of BS your country really is, and they're not going to come forward. They don't want to. They don't love Canada anymore. I can guarantee you that. All their voices out there in the Canadian narrative or trying to be this or that, they'll never be that again. And I know better. I've already had my face wrangled, beaten. I've been beaten nearly to death by our government. I've seen it at the regional level. No different than what the federal government would do, what any of the governments will do in Canada. They want their crown. They don't want constitutionalism. They don't want any real measure of rule of law. Rule of law is a divine deity of literally gods over you. Trudeau believes he's a god over you. His father taught him this because that's what Canada is. It's fully published on all the government websites. You can find this reality. Alberta has no rules of governance, no rules of how to govern, and absolutely zero accountability. You've elected Jason Kenney in a majority, a divine dictator who has a lowest of all approval ratings. He couldn't win an election tomorrow, but he won't give it up. He's going to smash you all with a hammer, break every toe you got on your foot, break all your fingers if he has to. He's not going to let it go. He's going to remain there until you throw him out. It's likely going to be Rachel Notley because of everything that man has done. There's no getting out of it. I pray my good friend Brian Jean wins it, but people are terrified and they have every right to be. This is how bad Canada is. It's not the first time, ladies and gentlemen. It's been done many, many times. Many groups have been victimized in pure, absolute Nazi-style genocide. The mentally handicapped, absolutely the First Peoples. From the beginning to now, right now, it's still going on, and it's going to go on forever and a day because people can't get it done. The bulk of people become cowards. They have every right to be. The system's built that way. You're going to watch. They're going to gravitate to Trudeau. He's only going to become more powerful than ever. He'll put out some new cockamamie charter. They'll try everything, just like every other king in history of monarchies. And every generation falls for it. You wonder why older people are so grouchy, so hateful. Well, it's because the longer you remain in Canada, the more angry you get as you watch more and more ripped from you. Your lifestyle goes down. That is forever and a day Canada. The slaves work harder and harder. People have to do with less and less. The government gets more stronger, more wealthier, and their elite friends who take care of them long after their office anyway, because they set them up, go on to live greatly enriched lives at absolute expense of everybody else. Again, second class that doesn't pay homage to that first class or breaks down in morality and says, no, this is wrong, you will lose your businesses, you will lose your wealth, you'll be reduced to the slave class, third class, working hard, knuckles to the bone for the rest of your days to scratch out a living. This is Canada. It'll always be Canada. It's never going to change until you, the people, change it. We can do that internationally. We can do that with the political party. It's a very hard thing to do because you get hijacked every step of the way. I watched it as the radical agenda of the right, which is none other than the Conservative Party of Canada. You see just how insane Justin Trudeau is. It's difficult. It's difficult to assemble 250 people across Canada who can stay the course, can see through all the BS, not attach the BS to the narrative. There's a lot of you on board, but it's not enough at this point, and it's going to take more time. And now we're in Emergency Measures Act. The worst state Canada ever is. The worst amount. You can lose your banking, any and all banking, any foreign institutions you're in as a Canadian citizen, they can liquidate that. There's very few places in the world you can go to hide your money. Trudeau's got unbelievable power over all of it. All of it. I just proved it today on the crypto highest minds of Canada and around the world. A lot of Americans there, and their mouths all went, ugh. And Corey, a Politico right here in Canada, top journalist, pretty cool guy actually, folks. And you know what? He was shocked. He was shocked. And I said, you better go look while you're doing this Twitter space, and you better leave it and go read what has happened with crypto as of today under the War Measures Act, i.e. the Emergency Measures Act. Call what you like. It's all of that. In history, we have genocided First People, mentally handicapped, the deaf, homosexuals. We can go into religion now. It goes on and on and on. There's no shortage of just how many groups have been targeted in Canada, just like Nazi Germany. Because, folks, Canada is built exactly like Germany was as Nazi Germany. Join my Twitter tomorrow. If you're too scared, don't comment. At least listen to it. Even if you don't, it's going to be recorded. I know people are terrified. It's going to be shared out on Facebook. It's going to be put on YouTube as long as I can until Trudeau takes that away, till Jason Kenney takes that away, because they're all working together now. It's Crown versus all of you. And if you don't follow the Crown, they can legally decimate you. And they will. All their enemies. I'm not afraid. I've seen this my whole life. I've always known it was there. I'm not going to be bullied into a corner. I'm going to keep going. They want to arrest me. They want to take me down. They want to frame me for whatever they want. Do an Omar Kadar to me. And watch, everybody. There is no magical $10 million at the end of this. Not for any of them. There's no payout. That's just how sick Canada is. We're that far gone already. A lot of you already knew that this was going to happen under Justin Trudeau. Anyone who looks at his father could have wrote this story for you. I was trying to get out before, but I may not get out. I don't know. I hope I do. We're going to see how things unfold tomorrow. Again, for everybody, I've been removed as per Jason Kenney and his good friend Justin Trudeau. There is no political party system here. There's only Crown and how bad the Crown will abuse you. That's all you have to look at. Which groups will be targeted by which Crown power. Don't think of political parties like the United States of America. That doesn't exist. We are nothing like the United States of America. And for all of you who participate tomorrow on that Twitter, that space on Twitter with me and the great mind of Ukraine, the greatest mind they got, expert in international law, real doctorate. You can look it all up. He's the real deal. He's brave enough to do this. I'm brave enough to do this. We're going to bring it to all of you. Have the courage to at least listen. I get it. So many are scared. I get it. I'm scared. But I believe that this has to go forward, and all sacrifices have to be made in the name of truth, regardless of how many times they kick us down. All it shows the world is just how far gone Canada really is. And you know what? I promise you, there will come a day in the years to come, and not that far off, where the Allies are going to have just about enough of Canada and the Crown. That system's got to go. It's been poison forever and a day for all of its 950 years. It doesn't work. Canada doesn't work. We genocide a people. We genocide all kinds of people, but we genocide the first people steady. We rape, pillage, plunder, and murder them at unprecedented rates. We remove everything from them, including federalism. Not that Canada is really a federal state. It's the illusion of it, without provincial constitutions cementing any kind of we the people. We're always going to be fully autocratic, fully designed as a unitary state of really just crown. It's the biggest con job in the world. It's the worst kind of Nazi. And again, for those just tuning in, Coots, Alberta. Do you really believe in the history of Alberta? I'm fifth generation. My children are sixth. We know all about how the government treats Albertans. Gun-loving Albertans, legally registered firearms and all the rest of it, wouldn't never bring their firearms in a battering ram style situation. Load it in a truck, load all your guns, and try to ram a blockade, and all of a sudden pull over and comply and give up all the guns. We've seen the history of what federal government and provincial government does to Albertans. We love our way of life. We would never compromise our firearms. We'd never do that. This stinks of an absolute setup to absolutely paint Albertans again with a brush, because I'm promising you all, everyone across Canada, worse than the first people, or not worse, I shouldn't say that, but as bad as the first people, the next second place is the Albertans. The Albertans. All treaty land suffers, that's a fact. Rich, wealthy federal and provincial politicians own all that land. As long as they're in office, as long as their appointments get to bring in all the foreign powers to utilize those crown lands, poison them, destroy them, rape them of resources at pennies for the dollar, and then leave a giant mess, a giant pollution, a massive cleanup, an inherited tax to be placed on the slave third class, and that of the second class who won't go with the government narrative. That's what Canada is. It's always been that way. It's never going to change until we abolish it. It's the worst governing system in the world. And again, we only do well because of the mass amount of resources that we allow foreign interests to have at a reduced rate. But it's so much resources, it gives so much wealth to the government, who then bills all of you for the cleanup. Very few get rich, many suffer. Just look at all the reserves across the treaty lands, those in the unceded, all through the north into the Arctic Council and the Inuit underneath that, and just look how awful it is to live. Do you want to know, in real terms, as I sat down with Bloomberg today, you're all going to get this in 2 days' time. I got to go through the story. I got to contribute to it. Inflation mapping. Do you know that the American Indian, all the way through Canada's Treaty Indians lands, the Crown lands, the inflationary highest rate targets hit all of those lands, including the American Indian? That's the effect of Justin Trudeau, Conservatives under Aaron O'Toole, Pierre Poilievre, and what he promises, and we're going to build houses by way of the taxpayer. subsidized housing. Did you know that all this inflation, all this money printing, these guys all lie to you? They lie to you. They're legally allowed to lie to you. Joe Biden takes everything from Justin Trudeau, Aaron O'Toole, former, which is now just Candice Bergen. It's all the same narrative. Pierre Poilievre will likely win. You'll all run to him. So many will run to him. Oh, I love him. I love him. I can't wait to have my life destroyed, my children's life destroyed. And you're going to watch it, and you're all going to cry in your soup, and I'm voting Liberal next election, or I'm voting NDP, I'm voting anybody but him, he lied, he's a liar. But you do this every 4 years, and Canada only gets worse. The bills get higher and higher. You don't make enough money. Joe Biden accepted all that. It's going to cost him his presidency. He's long gone. He's going to be decimated this November. Decimated, rendered useless, powerless. He won't have a Senate. He won't even have the Congress. He'll be beaten that bad. The inflation is so bad, so bad. There's nothing left for him. Now he's trying to cheat it, help New York, help California, help these other states, but it's running away even higher than Canada. But the worst, again, is the American Indian all the way through the Canadian Treaty Indian lands up to that Arctic Council, those Inuit, and all of the Métis underneath, just devastated by the highest record level inflations. People are going to starve. People are going to suffer worse than they ever have. There is no change voting out Trudeau. Even though, yeah, he's got to go. I know he's got to go. I hated his father. I grew up poor because of his father. My family became broken because of the pressures of his father. The unmeasurable inflation, the unmeasurable interest rates. It's all coming due. This story's been written many times. Many, many times. And we are going to destroy people. Literally watch people murdered by poverty in harsh climate, not even measurable in the United States. It amazes me that Canadians can go along with any of this and allow this to go, but hey, nobody wants to learn federalism as it's supposed to be. No one wants to learn constitutionalism as it really is. So I'm going to try my luck in the States. And I'm going to move the mountain called the United States of America. I'm going to move the mountain called Russia. And tomorrow, you're all going to see my Twitter space. Now who's the expert? As we certainly know, it's not those who profess to know so much in their great intel. We'll see who's got the intel. God bless everybody. I'm sorry I won't get to address Alberta. His Majesty, his Lord Jason Kenney, has had me thrown out of it. Even though I'm an Albertan, even though I have much to contribute, even though I followed all the rules, I submitted, I was thrown out. I kind of knew that was going to happen anyway. As soon as the Crown got wind that I was going to speak. Again, I'm not an NGO loyal to the Crown, a foreign interest, or a civil society that's actually paid by the Crown, you the taxpayers. Because you the taxpayers aren't allowed in there. That is called the definition of centralized government. You talk about communism, we have always been Crown. Customary Crown law of a constitutional monarchy. Way worse than communism. Because it's the lie that somehow you're not that, but you've always been. And sometimes you think things are going great. The government lies to you. They go along. For a few years we got along, but the damage was being done. Because you couldn't see past your nose, because most people can't afford but not to put their head down and go to work every day. They're supposed to trust the government's going to work on their benefit, but they didn't. It didn't begin with Trudeau. It didn't begin with his father. It goes all the way back to 1867. And it's written and disclosed for you, published, mandated. One thing that is mandated, that they have to tell you this truth. I only share you the truth of your own government. What they have is the highest laws of the land. And the highest laws of the land are, none of you matter, because none of you exist in the Constitution. You are the property slaves of that first class. You always will be. Don't ever trust the Canadian government. We are nothing nothing like the United States of America. We are a garbage system, the original build of Nazi Germany. And I plan to leave this country to get that education out. The United States foreign policy that was George H. Bush's foreign policy, that is now Joe Biden's foreign policy. The 50 governors need to know. I'm not going to do that in Canada, especially under an Emergency Measures Act by a crazy autocrat, a king of all kings, a god over men, apparently, Justin Trudeau. I won't be under his reign. I'll be doing that in the safety of a visa in the United States of America. I'll cross my T's, dot my I's. I'm great at that. I'm great at following rule of law. I love rule of law. Unlike all of your elected politicians, I love rule of law. I love constitutionalism. And it's what I want to give to you, the people of Canada, you, the first people of Canada, for the first time in ever your lives, your parents' lives, and every generation since whomever migrated here for you, or since your spirits of the Creator long before you. Thank you. That's my video. God bless you all. Thank the Creator. I'm still on for Ukraine, regardless of what Alberta does. I expected that to happen. It's really sad. I should check my emails and see if they've even deleted the emails. Quickly screenshot that. I'm going to do that because, hey, wouldn't you all like to see the exchange back and forth and then the absolute decimation of me? How pathetic that a real Albertan, lifetime Albertan, can't even address a Crown Committee on constitutionalism for all of you in your property rights, for the Treaty Indians of Alberta. Can't even do that because the Crown will never give up its land. Premier Jason Kenney wants all of it. His special interest appointed buddies, his civil societies, his NGOs, they make him money. Rachel's are all still there. All of your past leaders, their NGOs are still there. It only gets more expensive for you, the working Joe Jane. It only gets more expensive for you, the businessman, businesswoman. But the reality is, whatever cuts they do, there's not enough to go around. The deficit grows, the debts grow, and eventually the land is given back to those who hold those deeds. And that is your creditors. And I promise you all, those aren't Canadians. God bless. Share the video because it's the truth. It's verifiable. It's real. It's your entire history. It's the truth. This has happened many, 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 many times. Generation after generation. I grew up in it as a child. I watched my family decimated by this same BS. And you know what? The buck stops here. I have 20 years work left in me, and I'm going to give my talents to the United States of America, God willing, the Creator willing, if that first class doesn't stop me, which may very well be. Who knows? You know how it goes. The master will never give up the slave. If you look at American history on this, this is what Canada is today. That Nazi Third Reich has always been Canada because it was created before Nazi Germany. It is the template for Nazi Germany. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the truth. Bye now.